Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a room full of people, lights flashing, conversations flying all around you, music thumping, yet deep down you feel lost, like you're drifting in the middle of it all, like something inside of you is screaming for silence, for stillness, for focus, but the world just keeps spinning faster. We live in a generation of noise, constant alerts, endless scrolling, opinions everywhere, pressure to be everything, do everything, react to everything. But here's the hard truth. You're losing your mind and you don't even see it. Not in the dramatic Hollywood kind of way. No, quietly, subtly, bit by bit. Every time you open your phone when you should be working, every time you doubt yourself instead of deciding, every time you chase the likes, the approval, the image when what you really need is to lock in. This world doesn't reward potential, it rewards focus. You could have the talent of a genius, the heart of a lion, the ideas of a revolutionary, but if your mind is scattered, distracted, and undisciplined, all of that means nothing. You're playing with fire and hoping for light, but fire without direction, it just burns everything around you. Now I want you to think about something. What would happen if, for the next 6 months, you truly locked in? I'm not talking about kind of focused. I'm talking razor sharp. Locked in like your future depended on it, because it does. Locked in like your family's breakthrough depended on it, because it might. Locked in like your dreams are dying without it, because they are. There's a version of you the world hasn't met yet. A version that's buried under doubt, distraction, delay. But here's the kicker. That version is waiting, not for motivation, not for the perfect moment. It's waiting for you to focus. And until you do, everything you say you want, it stays locked behind the door of your own undisciplined mind. So before we go any further, I've got just one question for you. Are you ready to take back control? Because once you do, nothing will ever be the same. Let me tell you something real. Your mind is not a playground. It's a battlefield. And every single day you wake up, whether you realize it or not, you're stepping into war. Not with the world, not with other people, not even with your circumstances. The real fight is within. The enemy, it's that voice that tells you you're tired when you still have energy. That whisper that says, just one more scroll, one more episode, one more excuse. The battle isn't loud. It's quiet. It happens behind your eyes, beneath your smile, in the moments when no one is watching and everything depends on the choices you make. You've got dreams, you've got goals, you've got potential that's heavy with power. But none of that matters if your mind isn't right. Your mindset is the gatekeeper to everything you'll ever build, become, or break. And here's the dangerous part. If you don't fight to control your mind, then guess what? Something else will. The world will. Your fears will. Your past will. Your bad habits will. Your trauma, your doubt, your insecurity. They're all waiting at the gates, like soldiers, ready to take over if you hesitate for even a second. See, people think the enemy is failure. No, the real enemy is distraction. The real enemy is confusion. The real enemy is letting your mind be led instead of leading it. Because when your mind is scattered, your focus is stolen. And when your focus is gone, your purpose disappears right along with it. That's how people end up living lives they never chose, jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, routines that numb them, not because they lack talent, not because they lacked opportunity, but because they lost the war in their head before they ever stepped into the real world. Everything starts in the mind. Everything. You don't lift a weight, write a sentence, start a business, speak a word, without it being born in your thoughts first. And if your thoughts are broken, your life will be too. Your mindset creates your habits. Your habits shape your results. Your results become your reality. So if your reality looks off right now, don't go changing your environment. Go fix your thinking. But fixing your mind ain't a casual thing. It's not something you do when you feel like it. It takes intention. It takes repetition. It takes discipline. Every morning you wake up, you've got to decide, am I leading my mind today or being led by it? Are you training your focus or letting it wander? Are you feeding your purpose or your problems? You think elite athletes, Navy SEALs, world-changing entrepreneurs, legendary performers, they don't win because they're lucky. They win because they train their mind like a weapon. They don't just react to the day, They attack. They don't sit around waiting for motivation. They move with discipline. They don't let their emotions decide their focus. They let their mission drive their behavior. Because they understand something most people ignore. You can't play defense with your mind and expect to win. You've got to go on offense. You've got to be deliberate with what you allow into your head, what you watch, what you listen to, who you spend time with, what thoughts you entertain. You've got to start filtering your life like your future depends on it, because it does. Let's be honest, how many dreams have died because someone got too distracted? How many opportunities were missed because someone let fear talk them out of it? How many people are sitting in regret right now because they never took control of their thinking? That's the tragedy. That's the real heartbreak. Not failure, but never trying, never starting, never focusing long enough to finish what they started. You've got to get this. The thoughts you allow are shaping the person you're becoming. You can't think weak and live strong. You can't entertain doubt and build greatness. You can't live a focused life with a cluttered mind. You have to train your mind to obey your goal. Train it to obey your faith. Train it to shut down the lies, the noise, the distractions that come flying in every single day, because they will come. That's guaranteed. But your response, that's on you. And look, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being prepared. It's about knowing that if your mind is the battlefield, then you better show up every day ready for war. Not sometimes, not when it's convenient. Every single day, because the enemy doesn't rest, and neither can you. You've got power inside you, more than you even know, but it won't mean a thing if your mind is scattered, untrained, and undisciplined. You were born to do something great, but only a focused mind can lead a powerful life. And focus doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice, daily, hourly, moment by moment. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep letting the world tell you where to look, what to care about, how to think? Or are you going to stand up, plant your feet, and say, no more? I'm taking back control. Because once you do, once you really decide to lead your mind instead of follow it, you'll realize something incredible. That the most dangerous version of you, the most powerful, unstoppable, purpose-driven version of you, wasn't buried in your past. It was trapped in your focus. And now, it's ready to be unleashed. You can't hear your calling if your life is too loud. That's the truth most people never want to face. We live in a world that thrives on chaos, notifications buzzing, opinions flying, content scrolling endlessly, everybody yelling for your attention. And in all of that noise, the most important voice in your life, your own, gets drowned out. The voice that tells you what really matters, the one that knows your purpose, your gifts, your path. It gets quieter and quieter until it disappears beneath the static. And if you don't eliminate the noise, you'll go through life mistaking the world's opinion for your direction. That noise isn't just out there. It's in here. It lives in your habits, in your distractions, in your addiction to comfort. You say you're looking for clarity, but you're constantly surrounding yourself with clutter, mental, emotional, digital. You can't focus on your future if you're always reacting to what's in front of you. You can't rise if you're drowning in input. You've got to realize that every time you reach for your phone out of boredom, every time you scroll for an hour without thinking, every time you binge content instead of building your craft, you're feeding the noise. And the more noise you feed, the more your inner voice starves. That voice doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It whispers. It waits. But you'll never hear it if your life is too loud. You think you're just checking your phone, but really, you're checking out of your life. You're escaping the silence, avoiding the stillness. But that stillness, that's where growth begins. That's where purpose speaks. That's where truth lives. You're never going to find yourself if you're constantly distracting yourself. We've been taught to be consumers, not creators. Always watching, never building, always reacting, never reflecting, always scrolling, never listening to the voice inside that says you're made for more. That's the voice you've got to fight to hear. That's the voice that's going to lead you to what's real. But here's the thing, it's not going to happen by accident. You're not going to wake up one day suddenly focused, suddenly disciplined, suddenly tuned in. It takes a choice. It takes intention. You've got to start cutting things out that no longer serve your purpose. That means time-wasting habits. That means toxic conversations. That means negativity disguised as entertainment. That means anything that distracts you from becoming who you were created to be. Let me break it down even more. The noise is a trap. It keeps you busy, but not productive. It keeps you entertained, but not fulfilled. It gives you movement, but no meaning. It fills your schedule, but empties your spirit. That's what happens when your mind is on autopilot. That's what happens when you let the world dictate your focus instead of you commanding it. And people will look at you crazy when you start unplugging, when you start saying no to distractions, to drama, to things that don't align. But that's the price of clarity. That's the cost of focus. You've got to choose to be different to make a difference. You've got to become unavailable to the noise so you can become available to your destiny. Some of you haven't heard your own thoughts in years. You haven't sat alone in silence with no phone, no music, no distraction, just you and your breath. You're scared of that moment because deep down, you know what it will say. It will confront the things you've been avoiding, the dreams you've been running from, the standards you've let slip. But that confrontation, that's your breakthrough. That's your reset. That's your access point to the power that's been buried under all the noise. You want peace? Cut the noise. You want purpose? Cut the noise. You want clarity, strength, focus, fire? Cut the noise. And I'm not talking about a temporary detox. I'm talking about a permanent shift, a mindset that says, if it doesn't help me grow, if it doesn't push me forward, if it doesn't feed my faith or fuel my fire, it doesn't belong in my space. That's the level of seriousness you need to take your future. Because while you're wasting time on the surface, someone else is diving deep. While you're trying to keep up with the world, someone else is tuning into their purpose. While you're being entertained, someone else is being equipped. And the only difference is the one who learned to eliminate the noise, the real you, the disciplined you, the focused you, the strong, purpose-driven, high-impact version of you is not born in chaos. It's born in clarity. And clarity comes when you finally quiet the noise long enough to hear what matters most. So take a breath, slow down, log out, unfollow, disconnect. Not forever, but long enough to reconnect with your mission, long enough to remember why you started, long enough to remind yourself that your life is too valuable to be wasted in the background of someone else's highlight reel. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. Stillness isn't lazy, it's powerful. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's preparation. And when you step into that stillness, when you eliminate the noise, when you stop chasing distractions, you will begin to hear something you haven't heard in a long time. Yourself. And that voice will guide you. That voice will sharpen you. That voice will focus you. And once you hear it again, really hear it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. You wake up and the first thing you hear is a ping, another notification, another update, another message from a world that doesn't stop talking. From the moment your eyes open, the noise begins. Emails, messages, opinions, obligations, alerts. It all starts rushing in before your feet even touch the ground. And somewhere in all of that chaos, in that mental traffic jam, your own voice gets drowned out. You can't hear your thoughts, let alone your purpose, because everything around you is screaming louder than your soul. We live in an age where silence has become uncomfortable. Stillness feels foreign. We're so used to being stimulated every second that when it gets quiet, we panic. We reach for a screen, we look for something, anything to distract us from being alone with ourselves. But here's the truth, until you get comfortable in the silence, until you can sit in stillness and truly hear your inner voice, you'll never find clarity. You'll never discover your direction. You'll always be reacting to the world instead of responding to what matters. Noise is not just sound, it's anything that keeps you from yourself. The unnecessary conversations, the comparison traps, the endless scrolling, the negativity disguised as entertainment. It's the mental junk food we consume daily, disguised as information, but really just a distraction. And while you're consuming it, your dreams are quietly waiting in the background. Your potential is silently suffocating under the weight of all that clutter. Because the truth is, you were never meant to live on the surface. You were built for depth. But depth requires focus, and focus can't exist in a mind that's constantly distracted. You say you want to find your purpose. You say you want to build something real. but you're filling your head with so many voices that you don't even recognize your own anymore. And here's the danger. You start living for approval instead of alignment. You start chasing validation instead of vision. You start following trends instead of following your truth. All because the noise is too loud and your inner voice has grown too quiet. But let me tell you something powerful. That voice inside you, the one that knows, the one that remembers who you are, what you're capable of, and why you're here. It's still there. It's just been waiting for you to stop long enough to listen, not with your ears, but with your life, with your choices, with your focus. That voice doesn't compete. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you keep flooding your mind with distractions, you'll miss it every time. You don't need more information. You need more intention. You don't need more opinions. You need more peace. And peace doesn't come from scrolling. It doesn't come from being liked. It doesn't come from staying busy. It comes from cutting out everything that doesn't serve your growth and creating space for what does. That's what eliminating the noise is really about. It's not just about silence. It's about making room for alignment. Think about how much energy you've wasted on things that didn't matter. How many hours you've lost watching someone else live their life while you put yours on pause. How many dreams have been delayed not because you weren't ready, but because you were distracted. That's the cost of noise. It doesn't just steal your time, it steals your power. And slowly it convinces you that being reactive is the same as being productive. It's not. Busyness is not progress. Being surrounded doesn't mean you're supported. And constantly moving doesn't mean you're going anywhere meaningful. Real growth starts when you decide to stop running from your own thoughts. When you stop needing to be entertained every second. When you finally say, enough, I need to hear myself think. That's when clarity shows up. That's when your focus sharpens. That's when you reconnect with your reason. But it doesn't happen by accident. You have to carve out the quiet. You have to protect your peace like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. You want to level up? Start by cutting down. Cut the noise. Cut the mindless habits. Cut the fake urgency. Not forever, but long enough to reset. Long enough to recalibrate. Long enough to remember what you're actually trying to build. Because if you don't take time to disconnect from the world, you'll never truly connect with yourself. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about isolation. It's about elevation. It's about becoming unavailable to the things that distract you so you can be fully present for the things that grow you. It's about filtering your focus like your life depends on it. Because it does. You see, people think clarity comes from adding more. More books, more podcasts, more strategies. But clarity often comes from taking away, from removing the excess, from silencing the opinions, from stepping back so you can see what's been in front of you the whole time. That's when you start to feel grounded. That's when you start to feel powerful. That's when you remember that you already have the answers. You've just been too distracted to hear them. So here's your challenge. Step away, unplug, find a space where the world can't reach you for a while. No noise, no scrolling, no talking, just you, just your thoughts. Let yourself feel uncomfortable. Let yourself be bored, and then wait. Wait for the voice, the one that's been buried beneath the notifications, the one that's been silenced by fear and drowned out by opinion. That voice, that's your truth. That's your compass. That's the real you calling you back home. And once you start hearing it again, protect it, feed it, trust it, because that voice is your guide. That voice is your power. And when it's louder than the noise around you, that's when everything changes. That's when you stop reacting and start creating. That's when you stop surviving and start living, not just loudly, but purposefully, powerfully. Because the quiet ones, the ones who cut the noise, who listen deep, who stay focused, those are the ones who change everything. Whatever you give your focus to grows. That's not just a motivational phrase, that's a law of life. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, your time, your strength, your discipline, your thoughts, your habits. All of it follows your focus. If your focus is scattered, your energy will be too. If your focus is sharp, your energy becomes unstoppable. It's that simple. But here's the problem. Most people have no control over what they focus on. They wake up, open their phone, and let the world decide what matters. They give their attention away to things that don't build them, don't grow them, don't serve them, and then they wonder why they're tired all the time, why they feel stuck, why they don't feel fulfilled. It's because they're leaking energy into things that are draining them, not fueling them. Focus is power. It's the invisible force behind every breakthrough, every transformation, every goal that becomes a reality. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if your focus is divided, your results will be weak. Think of a magnifying glass. You can hold it under the sun all day long, but if you keep moving it, the light doesn't do anything. But if you hold it still, if you direct it, the same light can create fire. That's your mind. That's your potential. And that's what happens when your focus is locked in. But the truth is, focus requires discipline, real discipline, because distractions are everywhere, and they are designed to steal your energy. Every click, every scroll, every pointless conversation, every unnecessary argument, it all costs you something. You think it's free, but it's not. It costs your energy. It costs your clarity. It costs your momentum. The more you give away your attention to things that don't matter, the less power you have for the things that do. If your focus is on problems, your energy flows into stress. If your focus is on doubt, your energy flows into fear. If your focus is on what you don't have, your energy flows into scarcity. But when your focus is on growth, your energy fuels action. When your focus is on solutions, your energy creates movement. When your focus is on your mission, your energy becomes a weapon. That's how you change your life. Not by waiting, not by wishing, but by choosing what to focus on every single day and protecting that focus like your life depends on it. Because it does. People say they're exhausted. They say they don't have time. But it's not always about time. It's about focus. The wrong focus will exhaust you faster than any physical work ever could. You can be sitting still and feel drained simply because your focus is in the wrong place, worrying about things you can't control, comparing yourself to other people, thinking about the past. All of that steals energy from what you could be building in the present. Your energy is your currency. Don't spend it on what gives you nothing in return. You want to feel alive again? You want your passion back? Then get your focus right. Focus on what you can build. Focus on what you can control. Focus on the next step, not the whole staircase. Focus on what lights you up, not what burns you out. The moment you shift your focus, you shift your energy. The moment you shift your energy, you shift your reality. You have no idea how powerful you are when you stop giving energy to distractions, when you stop checking your phone every 5 minutes, when you stop letting opinions decide your self-worth, when you stop trying to do everything and start focusing on the one thing that actually moves you forward. You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're doing too much of what doesn't matter. We live in a culture of multitasking, of constant stimulation, of chasing everything and mastering nothing. But greatness doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things, consistently with focused energy. It comes from deciding, this is my mission, this is my lane, this is where I'm putting my energy, no matter what. That's how momentum is created. That's how discipline becomes a lifestyle. That's how people who once felt lost start to walk with power and direction. Don't let the world steal your focus. Don't let your fears control your focus. Don't let comfort dilute your drive. Every moment you choose what to focus on, you are casting a vote for the person you're becoming. You're either feeding your goals or feeding your distraction. You're either growing or just surviving. And that choice is made every day, not with words, but with where your focus lives. There's no such thing as neutral focus. It's either helping you or hurting you. And the difference between those who build something legendary and those who stay stuck in average is simple. They learn to aim their energy. They train their minds to ignore the noise and lock in on what matters. And they did it daily, not just when they felt like it. So here's what you need to remember. Protect your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Train your mind to come back to your mission every time it wanders. Cut off the distractions, the excuses, the unnecessary energy leaks. Start your day with intention. End your day with reflection. And in between, pour your energy into what actually counts. Because once your focus is locked in and your energy is flowing in the right direction, you become a force that can't be stopped. You stop reacting and you start creating. You stop surviving and you start leading. You stop feeling powerless and you start taking back your life, one focused day at a time. There's a reason you keep losing motivation, a reason you keep starting things and never finishing, a reason you feel tired even when you haven't done much. It's not laziness, it's not weakness. It's not because you lack talent or ambition, it's because you're drifting. And the reason you're drifting is simple: you don't have a clear purpose guiding you. When you don't know why you're doing something, it's hard to stay focused. It's hard to stay consistent. It's hard to push through the hard days. Purpose is the fuel that keeps you moving forward when everything else in life is pulling you backwards. Purpose gives your focus direction. Without it, your mind is like a GPS with no destination. It'll just keep rerouting, keep circling, keep running, but never actually arriving anywhere. And you can't afford to live your life like that. You weren't built to wander. You were built to work towards something real. You ever see people who seem laser sharp, like nothing distracts them, like they're locked in? It's not magic. It's not some supernatural willpower. It's purpose. When you know what you're chasing, distractions look like detours. But when you don't know what you're here for, every little thing feels urgent. Every little thought feels important. You spread your attention thin and your energy even thinner. You jump from one thing to the next, hoping something will finally feel right. But nothing sticks because you haven't set a target. Drifting is dangerous because it feels busy. It feels active. You're moving, you're doing things, you're checking boxes, but you're not getting anywhere meaningful. And one day, you wake up and realize years have passed. You've been working, but not growing. You've been hustling, but not building. You've been distracted, not driven. That's what happens when your life lacks purpose. It fills up with activity that takes you nowhere. But when you've got purpose, everything changes. Purpose gives you clarity. You stop second-guessing every decision. You know what aligns with your mission and what doesn't. You know what to say yes to and what to walk away from. Purpose turns "I don't feel like it" into "I've got work to do." It gives your pain meaning. It gives your setbacks perspective. Purpose makes you dangerous to your excuses because it eliminates the option of quitting. And here's the thing: you don't have to know every detail of your life's calling. You don't need a 5-year plan etched in stone, but you do need to know what you stand for, what you're willing to sacrifice for, what lights a fire in your soul, what problem you were put here to solve. That's your compass. That's your foundation. And once you have that, focus becomes natural because it's no longer about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing. Purpose also gives you strength when everything else falls apart. Life will hit you, people will disappoint you, plans will collapse. But if your purpose is bigger than your circumstances, you'll keep going. You'll rise again. Because now it's not just about how you feel, it's about what you're here to fulfill. Without purpose, success becomes empty. Money feels hollow. Achievement doesn't satisfy. You can reach the top and still feel like something's missing. Why? Because it's not about how far you go. It's about why you're going there in the first place. Purpose is the only thing that gives success its meaning. Otherwise, you're just chasing titles, applause, and numbers that never fill the void. And let's be real, purpose isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it demands long nights, uncomfortable growth, and discipline when no one's watching. But it's worth it. Because purpose gives your struggle significance. You start seeing your challenges not as punishment, but as preparation. Every obstacle becomes part of the mission. Every failure becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes fuel for the comeback. That's the power of living with intention. But if you don't define your purpose, someone else will do it for you. The world is full of people who want to sell you their version of success, their path, their expectations. And if you're not rooted in something deeper, you'll chase their dreams instead of your own. You'll try to please everyone and end up pleasing no one, not even yourself. Because without purpose, your focus is always up for grabs. That's why you've got to make a decision right here, right now. What are you about? What do you believe in? What are you willing to go all in for? What's the thing you do even if no one clapped for you? Even if you failed 100 times? Even if it scared you? That's your starting point. That's your fire. Once you find it, protect it, build around it, let it shape your habits. Let it decide how you spend your time. Let it lead your focus. Because purpose without focus is just potential. But purpose with focus, that's where transformation happens. That's where momentum lives. That's where you become a force the world can't ignore. So if you've been drifting, if you've been feeling lost, unfocused, uninspired, stop and check your purpose. Ask yourself if you've been waking up with a reason or just a routine. Ask yourself if the things you're doing every day are aligned with the person you're trying to become. If not, it's time to realign, time to cut the noise, time to stop moving without direction. Because the moment you reconnect with your purpose, you won't need motivation, you'll move with mission. You won't chase everything, you'll chase what matters. And when you lock in with purpose behind your focus, the world better get ready. Because nothing is more powerful than a mind on fire with direction and a life rooted in why. Everybody wants to be great until it's time to give something up. Everybody wants to focus until it costs them their comfort. That's the thing no one talks about. Focus requires sacrifice, and not just small things, not just the easy stuff. Focus demands that you let go of distractions, comfort zones, people patterns, and even versions of yourself that no longer serve your future. You can't have it all. You can't be focused and casual. You can't chase your goals and your excuses at the same time. At some point, you're going to have to choose. We've been sold a lie that you can balance everything, that you can chase 10 things and master them all, that you can succeed without sacrifice. But that's not how it works in the real world. You look at anyone who has done something extraordinary, and I guarantee behind their success is a list of things they gave up. Time, sleep, social events, comfort, distractions. There's always a price. And the truth is, most people aren't willing to pay it. They want the results, but not the routine. They want the spotlight, but not the solitude. They want the win, but not the work. Focus doesn't happen by accident. You don't wake up locked in. You don't stumble into excellence. You make a choice. And with that choice comes a cost. You'll have to say no more than you say yes. You'll have to miss out on things. You'll have to be misunderstood. People might call you antisocial. They'll say you've changed. They'll think you're too intense, too obsessed, too different. Let them talk. Because while they're busy trying to do everything, you're building something that matters. Sacrifice doesn't mean suffering. It means trading short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. It means letting go of the habits that feel good now but rob you of your future. It means turning down the party so you can work on your craft. It means shutting off the TV and opening up that book. It means waking up early when everyone else is still asleep because you've got a mission, and that mission matters more than your comfort. The reason so many people feel stuck isn't because they lack talent. It's because they haven't made the decision to sacrifice. They're half in, half committed, half focused, and half focus gets you nothing. You can't master anything with one foot in and one foot out. You've got to go all in, and that means leaving some things behind. Not because they're bad, but because they're not helping you become who you're meant to be. You want to grow? Let go. Let go of needing approval. Let go of needing to be liked. Let go of being available to everyone at all times. Your energy is limited. Your time is valuable. And if you spend it on the wrong things, you won't have any left for the right ones. That's why focus is such a powerful force. It forces you to prioritize, to make decisions, to stop living life by default and start living by design. And here's where it gets even more real. Sometimes the thing you need to sacrifice is comfort, that familiar routine, that predictable life, that safe zone where nothing grows, because growth isn't comfortable. Excellence isn't convenient. Purpose isn't always pretty. It comes with long nights, hard conversations, uncomfortable truths, and relentless discipline. It's not always exciting, but it's always worth it. You can't build a legacy while chasing comfort. You can't change the world and stay the same. You can't stay comfortable and become unstoppable. So if you want to focus, get ready to give something up. Maybe it's the need to be entertained. Maybe it's the habit of procrastination. Maybe it's the people in your life who don't want to grow. Not everyone is supposed to come with you. Some people are chapters, not the whole story, and that's okay. But you've got to be honest about what's helping you move forward and what's holding you back. You have to get to a place where the vision of your future is more important than the comfort of your present. That's when you know you're serious. That's when you stop playing games. That's when focus becomes your lifestyle, not just your intention. Sacrifice isn't about pain. It's about purpose. And when you're focused on that purpose, the things you once thought were hard to give up start to feel small, because nothing compares to the feeling of becoming the person you were born to be. Nothing compares to the power of waking up every day with direction, with discipline, with fire in your soul, because you know exactly where you're going and why. And don't get it twisted. This journey won't always be fun. There will be moments where you question yourself, moments where you feel alone, moments where it seems like everyone else is enjoying life while you're grinding in the dark. But those are the moments that separate the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the builders, the average from the elite. That's when you keep going. That's when you lean into the sacrifice, not away from it. Because eventually, the sacrifices pay off. The results come. The breakthrough happens. And the people who once thought you were crazy, they start asking how you did it. And the answer will be simple. You chose focus over distraction, discipline over comfort, purpose over popularity. So stop trying to do everything. Stop trying to please everyone. Stop trying to avoid sacrifice. Because the truth is, you can't have it all, but you can have what matters. And what matters is waiting on the other side of your decision to let go of the things that don't. That's the cost of focus, and it's worth every single thing it demands. Let me leave you with this. Your mind is the gatekeeper to your future, and focus is the key that unlocks the door. But that key only works when you're willing to use it with discipline, with sacrifice, and with purpose. You can't live distracted and expect a life of direction. You can't chase comfort and expect to rise to greatness. You've got to choose every day, every moment, because every decision is either building your focus or breaking it. This world is not going to slow down for you. The distractions aren't going to disappear. The excuses will always sound reasonable. But your purpose, it's bigger than your distractions. Your calling, it's louder than the noise, if you learn to listen. And your potential, it's waiting not for more time, not for more motivation, but for you to lock in. So ask yourself, are you going to keep living on autopilot, controlled by the noise? Or are you going to step up, take ownership, and fight for your focus like your life depends on it? Because it does. The most powerful version of you is not found in the chaos. It's found in the clarity. And when you learn to focus your mind, truly focus, you don't just change your day, you change your destiny.